Do you want to take a life? Do you want to cross that line? Because it's a long way back from hell.
I learned a long time ago that there's no sense getting all riled up every time a bunch of idiots give you a hard time. In the end, the universe tends to unfold as it should. Plus, I have a really large penis. That keeps me happy.
The owner always wanted...
Listen, let's get down to brass tacks here. How much for the ape?
Now, what I've got here is a scrotum and nothing else.
Vagina. My mind is a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives.
God darn it, Mr. Lamar. You use your tongue prettier than a $20 whore.
Probably late. Oh, Friday night time. Radical light and highly organized. It's Friday night time. Friday night times. If yourself not offended tonight. Oh, Friday night times. Rest assured that the chances are high.
What's up? Why is there a thing blocking me? Why is there a thing blocking me? Because I didn't take it off. What up, everybody? What up? Welcome to a special. I'm trying to like multitask here right now. So, and I decided to do it right when the show started. Let me say, give me a second. Hi, everybody. Give me just a moment. I have to type in a code. Hang on. 8, 4. I could have gotten this done before the stream started, but I didn't. It's the way it goes. It's the way it goes. Hi. Let's see who's here. Let's see who is here. Word up. Word up. Tyler Shelton. Eject a Curtain. Coop. Scott Kerr. Professor Fear. Diego Salazar. Ashbourne. Callum Envy. JB24. Eric Kane is Wrench. Jake Larson. What is that? Toilet Bug? Is that what it says there? Exalted Tooth. WG. What up, man? B-Buster. Christopher Love. Azrael Zero. The fuck are you guys doing up on a Sunday night? Hopefully most of you are West Coast where it's 7:50. If you're East Coast, it's 10:50. You are fucked if you're going to work tomorrow. Um, so yeah, like, oh, somebody brought up Tulsa King. Yeah, dude, we're gonna have to do like either a 2-part watch party or just a big old one. I'm not sure yet, but I owe you guys a lot of Tulsa King. A lot of stuff came up in the schedule. Including I have a fucking ton of fucking work to get done before I go to Egypt, including getting a couple of videos in the can so I don't have to record a video from Egypt, which I will do. Absolutely do. I recorded a video in the Muslim neighborhood of London. Got 1 million views on it, by the way. That was awesome. That was great. But it was a strike video. Man, I hope Hollywood goes on a strike again. Damn near all of my strike videos hit 1 million views. Shit. They actually could next year. They actually could. But yeah, I don't want to do a video in Egypt. You know what? The internet's probably going to be fine. I went to Cusco and the internet was great there. Speaking of Cusco, what's up, Sophie? I see Sophie in the chat. So yeah, so tonight, obviously no Forbidden Frontier because I was recording a Witcher video, which I have been pretty much writing and recording. Right, and I say writing, it's notes. I don't write scripts. I write like bullet points and then I riff. And we've been doing that for 4 days straight. So it's over. I'm done with my Witcher review. Garrett's working on it now. He's got a bunch of it done, actually, because we did it in pieces. And holy shit. Fuck that show. There's so much more to say than just that show, but you'll see it in the video. I guess you could sum it up with woman ruins another male fantasy show. And that sounds probably bad, like woman ruining porn, but epic fantasy. Epic fantasy is in the state that it is because of Me Too Hollywood, because of HR Me Too Hollywood. Their insistence on, let me put it this way. I'm sure you can find articles if you look where people are calling out John Wayne for playing Genghis Khan. Yes, John Wayne played Genghis Khan back in the day, right? A lot of white folks played Indians and Asians back in the day. A lot. And I'm sure there have been a lot of articles written by Polygon and Vox and all those places calling it out for how horrible it is. But how is that any different than a black Amber Lynn? How is that any different than taking characters from a clearly stated Polish and European folklore setting and slapping red-haired wigs on black people or Indian people? How is that different? Tell me. I'm willing to listen how that's different. So if you have a problem with it there, but don't have a problem with it here, then you're just fighting discrimination with discrimination. Right. And nothing against the actress who plays Triss Marigold in The Witcher, but that's some egregious casting, because I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but Triss Marigold's supposed to be hot. As a matter of fact, all the sorcerers are supposed to be incredibly hot because they can change their bodies. And most of the sorcerers are not hot. As a matter of fact, Fringilla got fatter. Margarita is the size of a blimp. Yeah, it's so how is that any different? It's not. It's not. It's not. And it kills the verisimilitude of fantasy shows that are specifically based on a European setting, and they all fail. They all fucking fail. And most of them, if not all, I have to keep in mind Willow, Kathleen Kennedy, Rings of Power, JD Payne and Patrick McKay. So a couple of white Mormon boys are fucking that up. But their boss was Jennifer Salke. And The Witcher, Lauren Hisrich. And Blood Origin, Lauren Hisrich. Wheel of Time, gay man. So that's not a dude. It's a dude. It's not a woman. It's a gay man. And all those fantasy series are failing for the exact same reasons in the exact same ways. And feminization. We can all say a gay man, feminization. So we can say feminization. You're removing epic fantasy, which was built mostly on the backs of Robert E. Howard and John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, in very different way to men's men. Robert E. Howard, tortured genius, committed suicide because his mom died. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, one of the toughest bastards to ever live, because he lived through World War I, lost most of his friends, and then managed to not be a bitter alcoholic and raised a family that loved him. Yeah. Manly shit. And then these women coming up, is this problematic and stuff? So we're going to put diverse people in our European setting. And it makes it a little difficult in The Witcher to believe that everybody hates elves, but they're completely fine with a transgender Redanian general that is such a transgender woman. She looks and sounds like a gay man. So it is a very inclusive and diverse set of bigots, apparently. Now we were just looking over it, and like one of the sorcerers is white. One of the sorcerers is white. One. One. This is supposed to be in fucking Poland. Oh. Yeah, I've spent 4 days on this shit. You'll see it tomorrow. You'll see it tomorrow. How's everybody doing? Oh, and yes, I have definitely seen the conversation concerning all the all the blackface that happened on Halloween. It went way beyond our show. Some people got triggered by my costume. So I want to clear the air. To anybody who was offended, I am sorry for absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I'll tell you why. When I purchased that costume on Amazon.com of Mr. Terrific, my full intention was, stop it. Was it to offend? Was it to offend? No. Maybe James Gunn's Superman fans, because it was just so I could take a picture in front of my Superman saying he's big mad, because that was the best part of his movie. Because he was. Objectively, Mr. Terrific had the best superhero scene in the movie. Now, I still think the Mr. Terrific in the movie is a little skinny. I prefer the one from Jeff Johns' JSA, the Alex Ross cover. Freaking brilliant stuff. I actually like the character, and I've read it. But the original Mr. Terrific was white. Terry Sloan, white. And when I bought that costume, I was originally going to do a white tee. I was going to do a white tee because I thought I was going to have to do makeup and I wasn't going to fucking paint black on my face. So I'll do a white tee. That'll be just funny. Plus, and I mean, part of it would be, I don't want to put a bunch of black shit on my beard that I'm not going to be able to wash out. But the mask came with the costume. And I looked everywhere, guys. I looked everywhere. And it did not say white people are not allowed to buy this. I double and triple checked. And it did not say white people are not allowed to buy it. The mask came with the costume. I hunted, Rob. I hunted. But yeah. And then there was Quarter Black Garrett. But it's in the name. He's quarter black. He's allowed. People are upset at Brittany Venti. She's half black, right? She's half black. I don't know about that other blonde girl. I don't know about that. I think case by case. I don't think anybody should be upset about it. And I think we'll be healthy as a society when it becomes boring and nobody gets offended or gets their panties twisted about it. When that one dude put on whiteface and went to the NASCAR thing, that was fucking hilarious. And I know some people are saying, well, that was satire. Well, so is the other stuff. It's supposed to be provocative and satire. And you may disagree, and that's fine. But when we start healing as a society is when we don't trip on this shit and we just go, haha, or get bored by it, or get bored by it. But I mean, my entire intention was just to, if I was looking to trigger somebody, it would be James Gunn fans. That's it. White Chicks, funny movie. Or tell a white liberal to shut the fuck up. I mean, that's a day that ends in Y. It's like, it was, I was like, oh, a lot of people did it this Halloween. Holy shit. But it's a direct reaction of the over political correctness, overly politically correct our society has become. It's a natural reaction. And this was something I have been warning about for years. When you have been holding the culture back for year after year after year, unnaturally, because the culture flows, ebbs and flows like the ocean, like the wind, like the sand in the desert. And when you put up a dam or you put up a retaining wall trying to stop the culture, which is essentially what the government, what all the fortification did, wasn't just to stop Trump. The fortification was to stop culture. Culture. That dam is going to break, and you may not like it. And you may not like it. And, nobody's talking about all the people who went as dead Charlie Kirk. More people are whining about some fucking blackface. Except we have teachers running around going on as dead Charlie Kirk, and you ain't got no words for that. And honestly, in a free society, people should be allowed to do that. It's disgusting, but they should be allowed to do that. But we're also allowed to call them out. We're allowed to call them out. But I certainly hope we get to a place where we can just fucking laugh, or again, not care, just go, it's another fucker doing blackface, right? Imagine if somebody dressed up as MLK Jr. when he was assassinated. It's happened. It's happened. The Redskins are getting destroyed. No, Jose Taco. The Washington Commanders are getting destroyed. The Redskins no longer exist because the NFL is fucking gay. The NFL is gay. If the fans like stood up and actually fucking didn't go to a couple of games, that name would be back tomorrow. But they won't. The NFL, and that's why I'm so happy we're free of the NFL. The NFL just knows they fucking got you. They can take your team out of your town. They can change your name to some generic fucking bullshit, and they know you'll show up. They know you'll show up. The NFL needs to be humbled before I'd even think about giving them a fucking penny. I have been fortunate enough to see some games with my son, and I got tickets for free. And if I ever went back to the NFL, I'd never root for the Chargers again. I'd probably be a Packers fan. But the NFL's gay. Roger Goodell is a piece of shit. So is Alex Spanos. YouTube is fucking up for me. Is my video out of sync? How's it looking out there, folks? Maybe I have too many windows up. Hang on. Dude. Boop. 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 Hang on. I could probably turn that off too. Looks good. All right. Refresh your phone, I would say. Oh, beautiful. Hi, Nerd Cookies. Everybody say hello to Nerd Cookies in the chat. She's lovely. Yeah. Been watching your Dune stuff. I was thinking, Nerd Cookies. Which I don't do often. I was thinking, man, it's dead for the theaters for the rest of the year. There's Zootopia, there's Wicked, and there's Avatar. And what's the next big movie to come out after Avatar? And I believe it's the one movie I'm looking forward to next year. And I know you are too. Project Hail Mary. I think that has great potential to be a really a feel good, come together kind of movie with no politics. Knowing what little I know about the writer Nerd Cookies, because I know somebody who hung out with him. I wouldn't go so far as to say he's based, but he's not woke. He's definitely not woke, which is good. And I think this movie has great potential to be kind of like a feel-good hit of the spring, we'll say, not summer, the spring. Really good book, a fun book. And Nerd Cookies is the reason I can't say I read it. I listened to it. And it was really, I drove out to, it was driving to Vegas, man. And I almost listened to the whole thing. So Nerd Cookies, thank you for the recommendation. I love the book. And now I can't wait to see the damn movie. And I think Ryan Gosling's actually perfect casting. And some of it takes place in San Francisco, and they're mentioned in streets that I recognized. But yeah, I'm actually, but man, fucking theaters are fucked. There is the release schedule picks up right around March. So when Project Hail Mary comes out, and then April, we're actually going to get something you probably haven't seen in a long time. Pretty much a tent pole every month. And Hollywood needs it, but you're going to see a lot of theaters closing, which sucks. And then this sale of Warner Brothers is going to happen. So it just depends on who's going to do it. And one thing I didn't think about is if Netflix buys them, does that mean like James Gunn's DCU is just going to be on Netflix? And I didn't even think about it. Would Netflix just fold everything into their platform, get rid of HBO, get rid of major releases? That would be devastating. So I think the unions have a choice. They want to block all the sales, which they have no power of doing. But if they want to block one, they need to block. I don't know why I'm giving them fucking advice, because fuck the unions. They should be broken. You want an advice, Hollywood? Break your unions. Problem is that's only one problem. You would have to break all the state regulations and everything, but break your unions. Go full indie. Get rid of that second boss. But I digress. Yeah, you'd have to stop that sale to Netflix. That would be terrible. That'd be terrible. They are too powerful, chat. The unions are too powerful. And that's why you don't want a union, because they just become corporation number 2. And their only interest is keeping themselves alive. They don't really care about the worker at all. They're actually gatekeepers. Unions act as gatekeepers. And they, the unions and corporations equally, I see them as two kind of the same. They stop innovation dead in its tracks. Innovation is dangerous. Freedom is dangerous, but so is too much regulation. I certainly think there was a time, like for unions, I'm not a fan of anything that's based in Marxism, but there was a time when work was dangerous and people were getting fucked over, and child labor laws, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And it got some people some health benefits. That's fine. That's good. Federal unions are fucked because we're their boss, but we have no representation. So they just negotiate with the politicians who they pay off to give them more money, and it's ours. So fuck those unions. Entertainment unions are stupid. You're playing pretend. You're not in the salt mines. You're not doing anything that's important. That'd be like a YouTube union. It's just as retarded. I understand my place in the world as a YouTuber. If the great rock from the sky comes down, or we have a giant electromagnetic pulse, I will not be missed. I will have to go out and use, thankfully, some of the skills I have in trade to go barter. Okay, so let's not play semantics. Unions based in Marxism or unions usurped by Marxists? Chicken or egg, don't really care. Unions are Marxist. They are. And to argue they aren't is a bit insane. Their iconography is Marxist. Their verbiage is Marxist, including borrowing terms directly from Marxism. So unions are Marxist. They are. You might be part of one. I don't know. I don't mean to offend or anything, but they are. They're Marxist. If they started that way, don't really know, don't really care, but I know what they are now. I know what they are now. And when I was, fortunately, I know a trade or two. And when I looked for auto dealerships to work for, I specifically chose ones that were not union. And I was able to negotiate higher salaries. I had a better work environment because I didn't have two fucking bosses to deal with, and somebody wasn't stealing more money out of my paycheck. The state was doing that enough. And especially in California, there's enough laws in the books that protect you as an employee. You don't need a union in California. And the one thing the union cannot protect you from is being an at-will employee. They cannot protect you from being fired. So what's the point? And every place you work at in California that I worked at offered benefits and everything. It offered all of that stuff. when I worked for Tesla, I dental, vision, medical for me and my entire family was free. I didn't have to pay a cent for it. And I can't think of a single corporation that offered that. But Elon's Tesla did. And when I quit that job, my wife was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know." But particularly with entertainment unions, completely unnecessary. And they've actually fucked the industry completely now. And that's why they go to London to say London to save money. Have you ever heard that sentence before in your life? We're going to London, the United Kingdom, to save money. Unless you're an immigrant from Algeria, nobody says that. Yes, LA's traffic problem. I lived in LA for a couple of years. Yorker cat, and the traffic is a nightmare. It's not that great in San Diego either, and it's completely different, but just as shitty in San Francisco. My wife's commute to work from our little house to her salon was about 6.5 miles, and it took her 45 minutes to get there. And it's worse on your gas because you're not in the freeway. You're just doing stop, burp, burp, through these little streets. And then being stuck on traffic on the Bay Bridge. I've lost so many hours of my life to that. I don't miss it at all. The only good Star Trek movie is Wrath of Khan. I disagree. Blackjack, but I mean, like, hey, your opinion's welcome here. But Undiscovered Country is a banger. I like Star Trek 3, and I absolutely fucking adore the only one true Star Trek movie, which is the motion picture. Star Trek 4 is fun. I like them all. I like all the ones with Star Trek 5 is silly, and I like it. Now the next the TNG movies, they kind of suck. Oh fuck. That was a killer World Series. It really was. Fuck the Dodgers. That being said, Ohtani is the greatest baseball player I have ever seen in my entire life. In my 50 plus years on this planet, watching a hell of a lot of baseball, it's not even close. He is the greatest baseball player I have seen in my life. He's the Japanese Babe Ruth. Could be better. Probably not as good of a pitcher, but God, that guy's good. Dodgers, best team money can buy. So back to Hollywood being fucked. It was a lot of us that were discussing this. And by the way, I don't mean to be a doomer when it comes to entertainment, because entertainment's not fucked. Hollywood is fucked. Hollywood is fucked. So a lot of us, including yours truly, were talking about this for years and years, recognizing that, wow, this is going to be a huge problem. And they just exacerbated it by shutting down for COVID, shutting down for a strike, breaking their business model by getting rid of broadcast, which got rid of ads so quickly, dumping DVDs and physical media for streaming when you can do fucking both. And it's gonna become a lot cheaper to make DVDs. Is like, I was just talking to Melissa about this the other day. My job at Technicolor would be one of the first taken over by AI, being a pre-mastering technician, doing QC, metadata, building menus. The only thing like physical I did was backing up audio on DAT, or burning a disc, which I mean, a computer can do without me. That could be automated without me. So like my job would have been gone, and it probably is. So yeah, I worked in Hollywood for 2 years. I worked at Ascent Media for a little while, doing a shitty little job working with a fucking backstabbing bastard named Mike, who's one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever met in Hollywood. Who tried to fuck me over for a job chaptering movies. So this was back in the iTunes movies on iTunes days, and those little chapters you got, which we couldn't even name. It was just chapter 1, chapter 2. I did that along with Mike. So I had the night shift, he had the day shift, and he was convinced I was there to take his job. I was going to take his job. So you know what this fucker did? He fucked up my work. He fucked up my work. And for a while, I'm like, God, I must just suck. This must be me. And then I found out from somebody else he was fucking up my work because he thought I was going to take his job. So this was when, even though I worked there for a long time, this was when I'm like, Hollywood's not for me, because I want to take this guy outside the back of the building and beat the living fuck out of him. And that will land me back in jail. That's not good. It's not a very dad thing to do. But I really wanted to. So luckily I got a job somewhere else. And I'm sure he had this illustrious career with, with insecurities like that. But, and a buddy of mine got me a job at Technicolor, because unless you have a buddy, you ain't getting a fucking job anywhere in that town. So Christian Martucci, great guy, by the way, guitar player, played in Dee Dee Ramone's band, played with my buddy Pat Kim from Unwritten Law, very talented guy, super nice guy, got me a job there. And yeah, it was pretty fun. But then I realized like Hollywood sucked. So even in like the low back end, like McDonald's area I was in, where I was doing pre-mastering, but I was also doing some side gig editing, like off the books, helping other editors, because I wasn't part of a union, but I was doing plenty of work on the side, working on, I worked on an episode of House. I worked on episodes of the Kardashians. Yeah. So, but I realized I hated it. So I went back, because the reason I went down there in the first place was the economic crash happened, still owned the comic store, took on a partner, went down there to get another job so we could stay afloat, right? Because shit was crazy. Shit was crazy. The comic store like flattened out, and it wasn't profitable for like 2 years in a row, which is normal for small business, to be honest with you. And that's the great thing about small business, is you can like basically break even and not die. And it's peaks and valleys. That's the way it is. And we got out of it. And quite frankly, if I hadn't have fucked it up with a relapse, I was making more money, a lot of money. It was getting like really successful towards the end, but then it went to my head and I relapsed and fucked everything up. Fucked it up. I done fucked it up, as Angry Joe says. Yes, but I like Hollywood. I don't want to see it go, but it is. It's unquestionable at this time. I don't know how I honestly don't know how you bring it back to what it was. It needs to be something new, and it wasted all the time it had to pivot, pissing off half the country and not being innovative at all. As a matter of fact, just scraping the bottom of the heap of scraping the barrel of fucking franchises, to where like they're thinking about making a Jetsons movie. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't think millennials know who the fucking Jetsons are. So instead of like pivoting. They decided to double down. Even this year, making one woke after another. Jennifer Lawrence was out there saying, I don't know how she came to this conclusion, but she did. She realized that, oh my God, all that shit talking of Trump might have alienated half the country. And it might be bad for not only movies I'm in, it hurts the crew members and it hurts future movies. It hurts my chance to get roles. And now, because we pissed off half the country, there's fewer crew to work on fewer movies. It's like this light went on in her fucking head. And good for her. It took her 9 years to figure it out. In the meantime, while people like yours truly were being called bigots and misogynists, when our message was always, you don't have to put my politics. As a matter of fact, I don't want them in there. I just want equal application of the rules. Roast all people equally. If you're going to roast a Christian, roast a Muslim, roast a Jew. That was a bad, you know what I mean? Roast a Hindu, you know, like get everybody, roast everybody. Do what South Park used to do, but doesn't do anymore. Doesn't do anymore because they sold out. Equal application of the rules. That's all. That's all we've ever been asking. And you might find you have a bigger audience. But now you don't. And they're understanding that. And the movie star has been dead for a long time. And it's going to be now like it's going to lose a generation. There's going to be a generation who just doesn't even know movie stars. Well, Jennifer Lawrence also Blackjack. She's getting older. So there's no movie stars anymore. There's regional internet stars. There's no real directors. There's Nolan and well, a couple of my favorites are on streaming now. So Fincher just works for Netflix. Del Toro just works for Netflix. I'd say why am I blanking on his name? No. Director of Top Gun Maverick and F1. He's pretty good. The Barbie director, well, we'll find out. What's her Greta Gerwig? She's going to be directing Narnia. I think her career's over after that. Edgar Wright's great, but he hasn't been great lately. Chris Stuckman is the future. Yorker Cat, you are right. Joseph Kaczynski, thank you, chat. Thank you, chat. I think he should have been the guy. I love Guy Ritchie, but he could be hit and miss. Like his Henry Cavill movie was okay, but like his episodes of The Gentleman are directed like Guy fucking Ritchie. Matthew Vaughn was my guy until Argyle. Woo! I still think he can do good stuff. But without tent poles, without comedy, without the middle class movie, be it genre or whatever, they have no future. Hollywood has no future in theaters, and it will become like vinyl. Like many people have said, it'll be like vinyl. It'll be niche. Man from U.N.C.L.E. is fucking awesome. Yeah, The Gentleman movie is great, and the show is great. Both of them are great. Both of them are great. I have no articles or anything. I was done recording and I'm like, God dang it. I'm bummed that I missed Forbidden Frontier. We're actually going to try to reschedule it for later in the week. So I'm not going to hit any topics. a Forbidden Frontier. We got to kind of stay in the schedule because Adam is in Sweden and he can't stay up till 4 a.m. because he's a pussy. No, I'm just kidding. He's a new dad. And what's this say? Oh, that's a good clip, Lady Greymaster. We're looking at a 25, Garrett, correct me if I'm wrong, 25-minute video on The Witcher Season 4. And honestly, I probably would have split it in the two but there's like nothing else going on right now. I mean, I have a couple of video topics. One thing we're saving for tomorrow is the Vox article talking about Tolkien, and then our boy High King Fanor, Alpha Chat of Middle Earth, give him a follow on Twitter, has been going after some fucking woke 25-year-old Tolkien scholar who I don't mean to sound like that guy because there is no substitute for between age and experience, right? Just because you're old doesn't mean you've experienced a lot. That being said, I'm not going to listen to some 25-year-old about Tolkien teaching me about Tolkien. Shut the fuck up. And I'm not even an expert. I'm not a lorehead. But I'm going to cover that tomorrow. Most definitely. So, Perry, you can get a daily out of that. Papa's coming to talk about it. The Rings, how is the Rings of Power not canceled yet? Asks MJV. It will be. So it has basically followed in the footsteps of Wheel of Time in every way, including premiering right about the same time. And what Amazon did was they came out with Wheel of Time, then Rings of Power, then they flip-flopped, and their budget was reduced around the same time. Very similar things happened because it was all under Jennifer Salke's watch. But let's put it this way. Let's do the sports analogy. If a GM gets fired, coach ain't far behind. Coach ain't far behind if a GM gets fired. So I think they play out this season and they see how the ratings go. People are saying there's a poison pill. Basically, there's a $20 million per season buyout. Well, $40 million is fucking nothing. They would end up saving money by just not making it. So I think it doesn't make it past the third season. If it does, I mean, good for me. Good for a lot of other YouTubers. I could use a laugh. Nerd Cookies has a great video talking about Elrond's hair and how important it is. And people may laugh and scoff, including the people making the show, but she's 100% right. For one, they gave Elrond Hassan fucking hair because they think that would attract Gen Z. That muffin top fucking Mike Brady perm haircut, which is worse than the mullet ever was. Ever. It's a horrible, horrible fucking haircut. It looks terrible. Elves. It is absurd, Nerd Cookies. Elves, while not explicitly stated, they have fucking straight hair. They have fucking straight long hair. Oh. But yeah, we'll discuss that tomorrow. I just fired this up because I wanted to chitty chat. Of course. Thanks for somebody said thanks for streaming. Thanks for tuning in. Despite the episode of Friday Night Tights, I have not gotten a single email of complaint. Still gaining subs like crazy on the channel. No signs of rebellion over it at all. Just Twitter, which isn't the real world and has no translation whatsoever to YouTube. It's almost not worth the time of sharing your video on YouTube on Twitter. I think the biggest test of that, if you guys want to know, is Elon Musk shared a film threat video, which got like 1 million impressions, 2 million impressions on the tweet. And this isn't bad, but it translated into like 50,000 views on YouTube. And that's not bad. Okay. For film threat, it's all relative, right? To the size of your channel and stuff. But I mean, that shows you what the how things translate from each platform. It's not very much. No, the YouTube algo, as fucked as it's been this year, is still orders of magnitude better than any other fucking platform, including TikTok. TikTok's ingenious, though, and I know YouTube's jealous. TikTok plays on ego. So that's your currency. It's all, we'll get you a ton of attention and 1 million followers. And you could say you get 1 million followers and you could even get some advertisers from that, but you're not going to make jack shit. People with 50,000, 100,000 subscribers on YouTube who put out content regularly and balanced, like a live stream and a video, will make a lot more than a fucker with 2 million followers on TikTok. A lot more. I saw like Neon and Shad and Metatron, who are going to try to get on Forbidden Frontier, and Friday Night Tights, talking about the weirdness on YouTube. Here's my take. So YouTube in the past, I've been on it since 2014. I can honestly say I've been like seriously paying attention of how things work since 2015. So 10 years. I do not break down all of my analytics because it would be unhealthy for me. I would get too obsessive. I just kind of go by my gut. I check them once in a while, but CPU or CPR, whatever shit, I've never looked at it in my life. Never. Click-through rates, don't look through it. I look at views, subs, and my total at the end of the month. That's it. And I don't look at it during the month. I wait till the end of the month. I check it once and go, okay, fine. So, but I know pretty much how the algorithm acts on the platform. So YouTube, prior to this year, made 1 or 2 changes to the algorithm a year. And those changes could be anything, but it's basically, if you see the UI change, if you see a button change, they take away dislikes, they add a feature, that fucks the algorithm depending for 2 to 4 weeks. It takes 2 to 4 weeks for it to kind of work itself out. And again, that happened a couple of times a year. The most dramatic one was during the election in 2020, when COVID was happening, and they put the brakes on everything. And it was fucking crazy. Like, there was no growth. There was no loss. There was no growth. It flatlined. It was weird. And then it stopped, right? This year, they've made about 5 years worth of changes in 9 months. And it's all because, and they warned us, it's all because they're moving to AI, which obviously would mean they got rid of some people. The AI has to learn. They also had to deal with the bot problem they had, that and it seemed to me that every social media platform was kind of dealing with it at the same time. Whether it was just getting bad or whatever, but they had to deal with a bot problem. And you want them to deal with bot problems because you want your growth to be real. You want it to be real. So fuck bots. I don't want them. You can't get rid of all of them, but they had to deal with that. They were bringing in AI. YouTube is becoming the big dog in advertising now, so they can call their shot. They made a positive change where we had to go in and click a little thing. I don't really give a fuck, but we now, if you click that little thing, it allows advertisers to see your analytics. It's like, I don't give a shit. I'll look at my analytics all day long, whatever. But it allows, it gives you better advertisers, supposedly. Then there's all the other changes, including the one that's coming up that I hate, which is going to age restrict a lot of video game stuff, which I think is just a fucking retarded move. And I told my partner manager exactly that. And I said it like that. We have a good relationship. So I said, this is a fucking retarded move, dude. I think the ads and the names, but lots and lots of changes. And again, it's just like owning a small business, a small brick and mortar business, which I know Neon has lots of experience with. So he knows. It is working without a net, baby. You are working without a net. There are peaks and valleys. That's the way it goes on YouTube, especially if you're crazy enough to do it as a full-time job. And the best thing to do is the same thing you would do in a small business, which is prepare, live within your means, have some money saved, get ready for those bad months. Listen, it's been a weird year, but I also had like 2 of my best months ever as a channel this year. So, and for us, particularly, I just cover, I'm niche. So I'm niche of a niche. I cover not just entertainment, but like nerd entertainment. It's been the worst year since fucking COVID. And we're still doing okay. So thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate it. But man, there hasn't been shit to cover. That'll be different next year. Next year is going to be fucking nuts. Starting in January. I think January is actually going to be for nerd channels better than December. And I mean a lot better. Yes, there's Stranger Things and there's Avatar, but Avatar has like zero pop cultural footprint. It's not sexy to any algorithm, like at all. It has no impact on the cultural zeitgeist. Normies, it's like normie catnip. They fucking love it. And then we all forget it by the time we get to the car. James Cameron has figured out how to hypnotize the audience the way he did his 5 previous wives. And Avatar's woke. It's woke as shit. And it's bad. I think Stranger Things will be, I think a lot of people will watch it. I think it's getting a little ridiculous at this point, but I think a lot of people will watch it, including me. But January, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And just for cringe entertainment, we have Wonder Man and Star Trek Academy. So there's lots of streaming shows coming up that I'm pretty excited about. Plus Spider-Man. So there's 2 Game of Thrones shows coming out. Night of the Seven Kingdoms. House of the Dragon, Rings of Power is probably going to come out next year. One Piece is coming out early next year. Project Hail Mary in the movies, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Supergirl, Lanterns, Clayface, Avengers Doomsday. There's a bunch of fucking nerd shit coming out, like a bunch. And I'm just scratching the surface. So that's already more shit than came out all of this year. And that was just stuff off the top of my head. A lot of it's going to be hot garbage. Oh yeah, Vince Gilligan's Pluribus. I'm gonna check that out because I like Vince Gilligan. Oh yeah, Dune Part 3, of course. Fuck, that's a lot of Zendaya next year. Nerd cookies. Oof. That's a lot of Zendaya. I don't dislike Zendaya like some people do. She's just not, for one, she looks like she's 12. So there's no way I'm going to judge whether she's hot or not because she looks like she's 12. But she's the kind of model gay men like. And straight men just, eh. Constantine 2 is not next year. They pushed off the production of that, I believe. And honestly, I don't think they should make it, especially with Akiva Goldsman involved. He's shit. He's fucking shit. And yes, he wrote the original one. Maybe the drugs were better back then, but he's terrible now. I would prefer, like, I love Keanu Reeves. I would prefer like an accurate Constantine. It's one of my favorite characters. She was the worst. Zendaya was the worst part of both Dune movies. She was. Dune Part 1 better. Do you know if the Doomsday trailer will release on the internet the same time as theaters? I may buy tickets to Avatar just to see the Doomsday trailer. I would imagine, Daniel, that it might beat it out by a day, but that's it. I would say just wait and you'll see it within a day. If it doesn't beat Avatar, it might come out before. So what my guy told me was, I'm guessing Avatar. That's what he said. It could be sooner, but he said, I'm guessing Avatar, and it makes the most sense unless they put it with like Zootopia. I mean, that's a Disney movie, right? So thank you for the $4.99. I would corn pop, but that requires, cults sound exhausting. You always got to keep people in the fold, and you got to go through like all this like manipulation to keep them in, and then you have to do the humiliation rituals for the people who have left. It sounds utterly exhausting. I know there's a bunch of cult of personalities on YouTube that do the very same thing, but yeah, too much work. Ryan's Ice Ketchup song made me and my brother die of laughter. Ryan's a funny guy. Jade Cooper. Thank you for the 50 Swedish krona. Ryan is a funny guy. Genuinely. Comedic timing that's better than a lot of comedians I've seen. You know, the true sign of being a funny person, a person who makes other people laugh, is when you can do it constantly off the cuff. Not thinking about it and doing a stand-up routine, which is hard, which is one of the hardest forms of entertainment. I have a lot of respect for comedians who go up there and do stand-up. That is fucking ballsy. Problem is, most of them are neurotic psychopaths. Okay. Most of, even the ones that are considered like nice and good ones. Matt P for $9.99 says, as always, Gary, thanks for being up late with us. Do you believe that Sony Pictures and Zach Kreger will make a legit RE film next year that holds up for us diehard RE fans? RE, take care. What's RE? I should know, but I'm kind of tired. Running on some low brain power. Help me, chat. What's RE? And once I hear it, I'm going to like go, duh. Resident Evil. Thank you. Thank you. I would, it'd be great to have her. I know shit. The only thing I know about Resident Evil is Mila Jovovich. I'm the wrong drinker is the guy to ask about that. I know conceptually, if done correctly, it would be fucking rad. It would be rad. But I hope you get it. I just I wouldn't hold out any hope of Hollywood adapting jack shit correctly ever. I'd say, what am I looking forward to the most next year? Project Hail Mary, the aforementioned. One Piece Season 2. Gentleman Season 2. And I think I'm mildly looking forward to Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is, quite honestly, only the second time I've been interested in seeing a Spider-Man movie since fucking the Raimi days. I'm not interested in Avengers Doomsday. I'm not hyped about it. I think it's going to be a fucking mess. Fackham Hall, that's this year. Fackham Hall is in a month. I can't wait for that. Clarkson's Farm, they've wrapped filming. Looking forward to that. Godzilla -1 sequel is coming soon. I got Mobland Season 2 is gonna slap. Evan, you're right. But I don't know if we get that next year or the year after. Tulsa King is I'm really liking what I've seen so far now. Took a little minute for me to get going. Landman, oh shit. Landman's in 2 weeks, guys. Landman is in 2 fucking weeks. And how stupid was Paramount getting rid of Taylor Sheridan? That is fucking retarded. I don't know. Alan Ing is pretty funny off the cuff, says Film Threat Alan. Is that your objective opinion? But you do comedy, Alan. Alan Ing does comedy. Corn Pop's cult just requires taking showers at your local Planet Fitness. I've giggity. I've taken showers at Planet Fitness when I had no hot water in this house. I had to take a shower somewhere. Listen, I showered in prison. There ain't no, you're in front of God and everybody. You're in front of God and everybody. I just brought it up earlier, and now I'm seeing the super chat. Godzilla -0 just got announced. Really? Hang on. One moment. Holy shit. Holy shit. Let's go to Variety, shall we? This is fucking amazing. Let's fucking go. Godzilla -0.0 marks next chapter for Toho's Monster Saga. Toho has officially revealed the title of its next Godzilla feature, Godzilla -0.0. Godzilla -0, basically. Okay, -0. The announcement was made at the annual Godzilla Fest in Tokyo and confirmed via Toho's official X account. Fuck yeah. The film will once again be written and directed by and supervised for VFX by Yamazaki Takashi. Fucking legend, by the way. With VFX work by Shirogumi, and production handled by Toho Studios and Robot. The same team behind 2023's Godzilla -1, Toho Company Limited, will produce and distribute. Yamazaki's Godzilla -1 became a landmark hit for the franchise. Released in Japan in November 2023, it grossed more than 65 billion yen, which is 50 million. Locally, making it the top earning live action Japanese Godzilla film in history. In North America, it earned 56 million, making it the highest grossing Japanese language live action film of all time. The film later made history at the 96th Academy Awards, where it won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects, the first Godzilla film ever nominated for an Academy Award, and the first Japanese feature to win in the category. And I know you'll all agree with me, chat. It should have been nominated for Best Picture. It should have been nominated for Best Picture. I shit you not. The vibe, as the kids say, I got from Godzilla -1 was the same one I got for Jaws. It is in my, I don't know if it's in my top 10, top 15 for sure. It is one of the best movies to come out this century. It's definitely in the top 10 for this century, maybe top 5. It is an exquisite character study. Redemption, forgiveness, all the things I like in a movie with a big ass fucking kaiju. It is a wonderful film. I want to watch it right now. So, fuck yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. I am in a serious good mood now. I was before, but my mood is better. It's 15% better. It is 15% better. That's awesome. It's fucking awesome. It's a top 11 DC film, Roger. You are correct. The T-1000 showed up in Tulsa King. Yes, it did. Robert Patrick basically playing the same part over and over again in multiple TV shows. I'm fucking here for it. Same with Frank Grillo. Both characters completely wasted in that dog shit Peacemaker, but they're playing the same characters in Tulsa King, and they're fucking great. Am I going to read Santa's Husband to you? Yes, Legendary Scrub. On Christmas Eve, when we have our Christmas Eve stream, hopefully, unless they completely back out and betray me. No pressure, Az and Mahler. We basically do a real BBC Christmas special where Az and Mahler join me on Christmas Eve, and we track Santa as we talk to everybody. And the reason I do that stream, and a lot of people do streams like this, but I think it's really good, is for the lonely, for the truckers working that night, or people working that night, or people who can't make it to their family because of work or whatever situation, that you're home alone, or if you just want to spend a couple hours ignoring your family because they're annoying the shit out of you. Either way, that's why we do it. I'm also going to go back to my tradition of volunteering to secretary AA or NA meetings on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, because usually people don't, right? And it's usually a meeting of like 4 people, but I always used to do that. The Bee stayed away, been a member for 4 months. Thank you. Says, I feel like it's been longer than 4 months. Anyway, just wanted to send my love and aloha, no homo, super homo. Come on. Keep at it, brother. It makes a difference. Be blessed. You guys make a difference. You guys make the difference. Don't ever forget that. A lot of content creators like to let that shit go to their head. I cannot. It's actually dangerous for me. But you guys make the difference in my life. And also you are the constant white pill, right? So when you're in the chat, even with you lurkers out there, I see you. I see you. Showing that you're not alone. You're not insane. The world is. But things are starting to shift. It's messy. It's ugly, but things are starting to shift. And that's because of you guys. Coop, who's been a member for 25 months, says, do you have hope in the Highlander with the mixing movies and TV? I think Cavill will try to keep the lore. I have faith in the movie. I think it'll be good, but it can't be good as the original because there's no Queen soundtrack. And there's no equal to Queen. There is no equal to Queen. But I certainly hope they do a kick-ass soundtrack. That's going to be important. And I just hope for success for Henry, because he seems like he likes the fans and he's a cool dude. And Hollywood hates him for it, so it makes me root for him even more. What is a definite philosophical interpretation of any comic book or movie? Is it what author means, or is it relative to what the reader takes from it? What is the definitive philosophical interpretation? It's what the reader takes from it. Creators will probably hate hearing that, but that's just a fact. Because there are works that have outgrown their creator. I would argue the Star Wars original trilogy became something bigger than George even could ever conceive. And I don't think he totally understood what all the fans liked about it. Now, George went ahead and did his thing with the prequels and made a whole new fandom. So you can't he knows what he wants. He knows what he wants. But I don't think he completely understood like what people wanted from Star Wars. What people wanted from Star Wars, we got glimpses of. It doesn't really fit, but let's be real. The end of Rogue One with Darth Vader just mowing his way through some rebels. That's what people wanted from Star Wars. Portions of Andor, particularly with the Empire, that's what people wanted from Star Wars. Even at the end of The Mandalorian with Luke Skywalker, people wanted to see Luke Skywalker kicking ass, at peak power, which we never saw. We never saw. That's what people wanted from Star Wars, for the most part. But the definitive philosophical interpretation of a book is whatever the reader takes from it. That's why this media literacy fucking morons out there are Tylenol Americans, and they don't understand that. And they always accuse us of not understanding something, which I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm some fucking Artur cinephile genius who gets everything. But I eventually come around. But the creator can certainly intend one thing. And unless it's explicit, right? Unless they, and that's the problem. That's the lost art today, is they are so explicit with their preaching. And they leave nothing to interpretation. Why is Blade Runner continually debated over and over? It's because there's only one film. There's 3 versions of it. There's only one film. Fuck Blade Runner 2049. And it's the debate at the end. It's also a visual masterpiece, an acting masterpiece, a directing masterpiece. But it's also the open open debate at the end that we debated for years and years. And always will. Should have never been answered. Some things should never be answered. But some comic books, Yamada, are just funny books. Totally agree with you about Triss casting. She was sweet and sexy redhead. I was a sweet summer child back then and so pissed, says Golem Wolf. Yeah, it's like the actress playing Triss. No disrespect again. It's not like she's ugly, because she's not, compared to all the other sorcerers who are fucking ugly. Like, she's not ugly. She's just not right for the role. And she's not a redhead. So they she's Indian, right? Indian or Pakistani, one of the two. And they flop a fucking red wig on her. Well, that's like me wearing an Afro wig. How is that any fucking different? So no, she isn't right for Triss. Yennefer, the actress playing Yennefer, she's a good actress. She's fine. She's not ugly. She ain't Yennefer. That's another possibly Indian, possibly Pakistani, Asianish. Even Francesca is half black. Go look at real pictures of her. Good looking woman. Very good looking woman. Extremely hot. Probably the hottest of the lot, I would say. The actress playing Francesca is the hottest in the show by far. 11 out of 10. Don't get me wrong. But she's not a ginger. NA for 20 Canadian pesos says, hail to the fellowship. Gary, I'm a longtime fan of the channel and had to brag. It's my birthday today. I'm 44. Congratulations. My dad's awesome and got me Rush tickets and always wanted to see them. Hail my awesome old man and hail to you. Enjoy Rush. Rest in peace, Neil Peart. If the boys want to continue, that's up to them. Geddy Lee, one of the greatest bass players who's ever lived. Alex Lifeson, one of the greatest guitar players who's ever lived. Go enjoy the show. I was fortunate to see them many, many times when I was younger. I've seen them 8 or 9 times. They never disappointed. One of the greatest live acts I've ever seen. They bring it. They sound exactly like they do, and like except for Geddy Lee's voice. But as far as their playing is concerned, it is just as good as it is in the studio on the stage. A lot of bands just fucking suck ass live. Guns N' Roses, I love the band. They suck live. They were actually better when they had Aldridge on the drums. I saw Guns N' Roses open up for Aerosmith at the Pacific Bowl in 87, 88. I took a train up to Orange County. I was high as fuck. I, to this day, did not remember the train ride up or back. I remember the show. Don't remember the trips back and forth. I was fucking wasted. Happy birthday. And NA is a new member. Sophie, what's up, Sophie? Says, to be fair, it's a Hollywood problem. Most popular animes were written by women, including Demon Slayer. Have fun in Egypt. It's a Hollywood female problem, right? So when I say all women, I don't really mean that. I mean specific women who there are I can't remember her name, but the woman who wrote The Penguin knows how to write men and killed it with that show. Absolutely killed it. But Jennifer Hutchinson, who wrote for Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, also writes for Rings of Power and sucks. Lauren Schmidt Hissrich is a West Wing writer. Do I need to say more? She is a West Wing writer. Sure, she worked on Daredevil, but she also worked on that shitty Defender show, which sucked ass. And the sucky seasons of Umbrella Academy, which are everything but season 1. But it needs to be an experienced writer who understands how to bring the verisimilitude to epic fantasy, particularly if it's based in a European setting. And you need to respect that. Lauren Hissrich has moments where she can write. The problem is she can't get out of her own fucking feminist way. But you are right, Sophie. At least Snyder respected Superman. James doesn't, says Yorker Cat for $1.99. No, he doesn't. James doesn't like Superman. I'm sure if he had his druthers, he would have done Batman first, but he couldn't. Quarter Black did nothing wrong, says Smooth the DJ. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. At all. And I'll go so far as to defend Brittany Venti, who's half black. But that's exactly what she's done on the internet. She is raised on the internet. Her parents died at a very early age, and she was raised by the fucking internet. And she understands it better than most. Very smart girl. So, And she knows how to fucking troll. She's a master at it. That's what she does. Hey, Gary, what's your favorite Tarantino movie? Ozeal. Is it Naparstic? I hope I said that right. My favorite Tarantino movie. I'm going to give you a very basic bitch answer. Reservoir Dogs. Close second is a movie he did not direct. Well, actually, okay. My favorite movie is True Romance. Period. Out of everything he's done, it's True Romance. For a lot of reasons. Tony Scott directed. It's about a kid who works in a comic shop. A lot of things to like. Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken have one of the greatest scenes in cinema in that movie. I love it. So, but my favorite Quentin Tarantino directed movie is Reservoir Dogs, followed closely by Pulp Fiction. I also love Jackie Brown. I don't like Death Proof. Trying to think of what else I don't like. I like everything else, but it's varying degrees. I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's fucking great. Kill Bill 1's definitely better than Kill Bill 2. Hey, Gary, got my Full Metal Jacket steel box. Happy. Ooh, Mexi Rage. I didn't know that was out. Now I have to get it. 4K? That's awesome. Please have Jay on FNT for Avatar review. He's a big fan of the movie. I might, Jose. I might. But then everybody would have to deal with how Jay live streams. So here's how Jay live streams. I can't do the impression, but he has unusual pauses. So when you live stream with somebody, you kind of learn their rhythm, right? As for one, has some of the worst rhythm I've ever seen. And I love him. And he works in stream, but you'll be 4 or 5 words into a sentence, and he just barrels in with a completely different topic. And you just go, this is Az. But you know everybody's timing, and that's what makes it fun. And I love these guys. Jay has a very unusual pauses. I think the best person I've seen deal with him is Ryan. And Ryan knows exactly what I'm talking about. But you'll think Jay has stopped talking, and then you'll find out that he was just in the middle of a sentence. if that makes any sense. We love Jay. We'll have him on. One time he went on a filibuster for, I'm thinking 12 minutes straight on FNT. He just went, go. So we all got to pee and do all kinds of stuff. Kill Bill 3 would hit if Tarantino makes it. He's only making one more movie. He's got to make that one count. It's going to be a Saudi company buying WB and HBO. It might be. But again, that has to be allowed by the government. That would be interesting, though, Jose. That would be interesting. Hot take, Star Trek V is 10 times better than all of the TNG movies, including First Contact, which ruined the Borg. 100,000 times better than JJ Trek and 1 billion times better than Kurtzman Trek. You're not going to get an argument out of me, Anak Maman. You will not get an argument out of me. Black Cloud for $19.99. 40K is still pushing female custodies in the next book alleged. Talk about killing a franchise that can take the place of Star Wars and Star Trek or any burned IP. There are a ton of female-only groups in lore already. The problem with 40K is it's too big. It's too fucking big. So tell me, Black Cloud, what is the one streamlined story that every 40K fan will agree with? Or most. Let's be realistic. Most. And most we could say 65%. None. None. There's too much. And you know what? Be careful what you wish for. I think you guys in 40K land are in rare air, in a special place. Hollywood has not butt fucked your franchise, and don't let it near it. Make your own shit. I've seen some of the animated stuff. It's spectacular. Candlejack for $5 says, wasn't offended by the costume, but I need you to appreciate the absolute chore it is to battle the accusations of self-hatred for liking you all. We do. We get the same accusations. We get the same accusations, Candlejack. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but like, we're just dudes. And we're out there to have fun. And everything we do, Candlejack, every single thing we do is to put a smile on somebody's face. All right. That's all we do. Everything is with a wink and a smile with us. That's why the accusations of hate never stick, because we don't hate anybody. We don't. We just want to have a good time. And if we have to assist pulling the stick out of America's collective ass in our own little way, because we're never going to be able to do that, we'll keep doing it. But I'm sorry, it's a chore. Candlejack, imagine being my parents. Those poor people. We love you, man, though. We appreciate you. Frankie Lowe for $9.99. I was thinking, would it be just interesting in creating an investment company to buy IP from Hollywood conglomerates? Somebody's brought that up before, but these things are just beyond us. They're so huge. So huge. What we're doing now is the only thing we have power to do, and the only thing that's been proven to be, and I mean slightly effective. And I mean slightly effective. And it's mockery. It's mockery, and the mockery gets attention through memes, and then Hollywood actually becomes aware, self-aware for a brief moment and goes, oh, shit. Maybe putting a red wig on a Pakistani woman for the sake of diversity might actually be racist. Then you see the numbers flying around. But people are starting to have this conversation, Frankie. They're starting to have this conversation, which is great. Eric Kane from Forbes, a writer who I genuinely like. Of course, we don't agree on everything, but he and I have had very brief, very respectful conversations. And I actually think his takes on a lot of modern fantasy are fucking spot on. And you want to know why? Because he's a fan. He's a fan who reads the fucking books. And knows the source material and knows what he's talking about. But he was going on. This is a writer from Forbes who is not going to put a MAGA hat on anytime in his life, was posting openly about calling out people who said that there was diversity in the Witcher books. And he's like, that's absurd. There's no diversity in the Witcher books. It's absurd. And having an open conversation about how this ruins the verisimilitude and how this is actually the bigotry of lowered expectations. It's not my term, but I've been saying it on this channel for years and years that when you treat, by the way, when you call somebody a marginalized person, that's bigotry. Because you're lumping them in a group and you said this group is less than. Now your intentions might be good. Well, they're less than because we keep them down. We white people keep them down, but you're still saying they are less than as a group, a generalized group. That is bigotry. That is bigotry. And we're starting to have this conversation now. So fighting through, going back to poor Candlejack there. Sorry. All the shit that we've gone through, which, I mean, like, listen, comparatively to prison and all the stuff in my life, it ain't shit. But all the accusations, death threats, whatever, news outlets contacting me about fucking a term called Let's Talk About, it's actually led to a conversation. And I am just one little cog in this machine. There's other YouTube channels that have discussed this and put it in the zeitgeist. And now people are actually to the point where we can have a civil conversation about it. And hopefully one day we can get there with trans people to where we can have like because a conversation has to be had. It's like Doctor Who, eventually y'all have to sit down and talk, and a conversation has to be had and people need to listen. So that's why you keep talking. That's why your voice matters. And that's pretty much the only way we can change anything. You know what? Here in this stupid little pop culture sphere, I watch shit and I give you my opinion on it. But I try as much as possible to make that opinion as informed as possible by reading everything, watching everything, listening to everything. And if I can't do that, then I keep my fucking mouth shut. Are you going to see Stallone cut of Rocky IV this week in theaters? I think so. I have a lot to do in the next 2 weeks, but I think so. The Stallone cut. Release the Stallone cut. Hello, Kurt. The only remake that I think is worth doing, and this is only for Tarantino to complete his Hollywood portfolio and retire, is True Romance, but this time directed by Tarantino. I don't think it needs to be, Martin. I think it's kind of a perfect film. It's kind of a perfect film. And I think Tarantino will be the first to tell you. It's Tony Scott, the late, great Tony Scott. The Scott brothers were great. And I would argue Tony was a little more consistent than Ridley. Now, Ridley hit higher highs than Tony. But go look at Tony's IMDb. It's fucking impressive. Oh, there's a new Punisher comic coming, and they got rid of the Tusk alien skull and went back to the normal one. Yeah. And Marvel will probably have him fighting fucking ice or some shit like that. Who knows? Who knows? I saw some conversation online where, a certain pundit out there who knows about as much as selling comics as I do about making alimony payments or being in a porno, that comics are experiencing a boom. Comics are experiencing a boom. Maybe I missed it. I think it's up a certain percentage from their worst year ever, which is great. Absolute Batman is a hit. People like it. Great. Happy for you. Is there a massive influx of comic shops opening? Did I miss that? Do we have hundreds? Do we even have tens of new comic shops opening across the country? I don't think so. Well, until that happens, there is no boom. Wish there was. I love comic books. I was just watching Sal Buscema tweets, and he's there. Here, maybe I can find it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty boring, but it's neat. If you love comic books. Greatest medium out there. My favorite medium, more than movies, more than TV shows, is comic books. Dude. There it is. Handsome devil. Hang on. There it is. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. This is pretty cool. We won't watch the whole thing. No, Razor Fist has been going off on 90s comic art, some which I love and some which I don't, but that you could say that about every era. But what has even the 90s still had at the time was they didn't waste any space. Everything was dynamic and things were drawn to be comic books. And look at the detail on just this. It is rare to find something like this. This was normal fare when we read comic books. You know, and I'm not looking at the past through rose tint glasses. Sure, there were some covers that were shit, but most weren't. Most weren't. You had a bunch of artists and writers who were passionate about comics, didn't get paid very much, had to deal with crazy fucking editors, but those editors also cared about comic books and not work girlfriends or politics or any bullshit like that. They definitely had their own opinions and sides, but you don't have a John Byrne anymore. John Byrne was a comic fan, is a comic fan. I was lucky enough to talk and do some trade with John Byrne because he liked collectibles and he read other people's comic books and he knew stories. Now, of course, he thought all of his were better. That's confidence. I appreciate that. But it was before the quote unquote rock star era that came up through Wizard magazine in the 90s and Rob Liefeld getting on a commercial, which was crazy to see, by the way, and awesome. I liked it at the time. But the thing is, it was such a weird celebrity. It's just like internet celebrities in like their little pocket. They were fucking, some of them were gods. They thought they were anyway. Very flawed humans, by the way. But nobody would recognize him walking down the street. A lot of bitterness towards Stan. Stan took a lot of credit that he shouldn't have, but Stan also is probably solely responsible for keeping comics around and bringing Marvel to what it is, for being their carnival barker and being one of the best ever of any industry. But it's this that's lost. Is it still out there in some aspects? Absolutely. But we're losing it because the money's not there. There's no boom. If there was money there, they would be able to afford talent. And they wouldn't turn down people like Mark Miller when he goes to, say, a company and pitches a brilliant idea. And they go, no. Nah. No. So he just reworks his ideas, puts them in his own shit, which he should do, and makes some of the best comic books out there right now. By the way, look for an announcement possibly this month of something fucking awesome. I'll give you a hint. One word. Spy. This is brilliant. Sorry, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but I saw that. I thought it was neat. I thought it was neat. Not spy versus spy, but you're close. But you're close. Please do watch parties for older classic movies. That's not a bad idea. When I have more time to do that, I will. It's really just a scheduling thing, but I will. I want to, like, there's certain movies I just want to do full reviews of that I like. I waited too long to do Nerdrotic as toxic reviews, and now it's gone off of here. Let me double check that. Let me actually double check that. Let's see. I'm gonna go to an incognito tab. Yes, it is me. Let's go. Nerdrotic. Yeah, it's gone. So back, just in case you didn't know, if you typed in Nerdrotic, the second, third, or sometimes first search term for 2.5 to 3 years was "is toxic." That was no accident. I brought it to my partner manager. He even saw it in incognito tab. It was just there all the time. I just accepted it. There's not much I can do. Either somebody at YouTube didn't like me or whatever, but it's gone now. I was just going to roll with the meme, to be honest with you. I was just going to roll with it. Remember when you used to be able to friend people on YouTube? I remember. Yeah, those are the days. Do you know if Doomsday will release on the I read that one already. But I would say wait, Danielson. Like I said earlier, I think it'll be just fine. I think it'll be oh, I jumped way back. What the fuck happened? Okay. Nikki D for $20 says, "Hail Gary, I'm so pissed at what Disney has done to Thor and Loki as characters. They skipped so many badass stories in the comics just to adapt Blood and Chunder. Where do you think they'll take the characters next?" They're going to have to reboot it. So they'll do a soft or hard reboot, recast the characters, and probably make them lame and gay. But that's what they're heading. And Kevin Feige even said it, that they're going to have to reboot probably along with the X-Men. And they should just do a hard reboot, recast absolutely everybody. But it's such a dumb. You introduce the Fantastic Four. You get characters who are too old. Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby, who I think is hot, but she's too old. And Robert Downey Jr. is Dr. Doom, who's too old. Hey, Gary, I'm your biggest Hasidic Jew fan for real. Hail. What's your favorite Tarantino movie? Mine is Inglourious Bastards, Django, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is up there. But I said earlier, Reservoir Dogs, which I saw like after I got out of prison, and it blew my mind. Should studios buy movie theaters? Well, it was against the law before for them to do that, Matthew, but I think they need to now. Sunny Hard R for $5. Gary, what gives? You have never been to a Spurs game, eaten at Cowboys Stadium, or survived a Houston hurricane. Being a Texan is more than a paper title. I've never claimed to be a Texan, brother. I live here. I am unfortunately a Californian. You will not catch me dead at a Spurs game because I don't like NBA basketball. I just don't. I liked it in the Jordan era, in the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird era. I don't now, and I don't think I ever will. I don't want to be in a hurricane in Houston. But I'll go to Cowboy Stadium and watch a game. I'd rather miss a hurricane in Houston. I was watching 2 streams and didn't see if you answered my free super chat about Henry Cavill about Highlander. Would he be better showrunner and director than actor? Maybe, Coop. I think he should just guide the lore, let somebody else direct and write, and act. Do what he does. Godzilla goes, rawr, kaiju, says Snex. As someone who has no family left alive, your holiday streams are important, Blackjack. I'm sorry. Thanks, buddy. We will always do them. And other people do them too. So I know people do Thanksgiving streams and stuff, and that's brilliant. But I love our Christmas Eve stream, and I genuinely look forward to them. They're fun. Hope to see you and JD Delay on Unsub together. Well, I had dinner with them, with the Unsub guys about a month ago. But yeah, I'll definitely hang out with JD Delay. Dude's awesome. Top 3 Nolan movies besides the obvious Dark Knight, the Dark Knight trilogy. Memento, number 3. Inception, number 2, and Prestige, number 1. I missed all of your rants on Tron, but how can Tron be Tron without Tron? Tired of Disney gutting story arcs for woke shit. Ares didn't even have the statement, I fight for the user. Frankie Lowe I mentioned it in my video, in my review, which at the time, it's so weird, got a bunch of clapback, and then it just disappeared. The movie was trash. The movie was modernity trash. They just inverted legacy and replaced the legacy characters with diverse characters. Which old YouTube videos of yours do you find cringe today? I haven't gone back and watched them. I dare not. I would say any early one early ones are cringe as hell. All the early ones are cringe as hell. What was I? Yeah, I haven't watched one in a long time. I am, it's funny is I call out Disney Star Wars a lot, but do you know that the only Disney Star Wars movie I reviewed was The Rise of Palpatine? Now, I did a review of The Last Jedi, but it was a live stream. Didn't do one on Solo. Didn't do one on The Force Awakens. That's going to change because I wasn't doing videos at the time. So, on the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens, I am going to do a Force Awakens review, a full Nerdrotic, fully produced, fully edited review of The Force Awakens. Like I just saw it. And on the 10-year anniversary of Ghostbusters 2016, a movie I have never seen, I'm going to do a review on that too. Top life advice you would give to someone in mid-20s. Oh, survive. Don't black pill. Okay. So there's so much fucking black pilling going on right now. And it's from some people I really like and respect, and I still do. And I fight the urge because it's on Twitter. So I don't want to really call them out and argue with them on Twitter because I know they're probably going through a thing, and lots of dooming going on right now because of AI and what's going on the algorithm with YouTube, which honestly, I mean, if it affected the channel a little bit a couple months ago, but we're doing fine now. So I think, things will work itself out. And just, again, if you cover entertainment, just wait. There'll be some more entertainment coming, but right now there's just nothing. But I would say advice in mid-20s is, one of the few smart things I did in my mid-20s was I kept my goals obtainable. Does that make any sense? I didn't have any pipe dreams. I didn't count other people's money. I didn't pocket watch, as they say. I didn't worry about people having more than me. I just worried about me. And I was grateful for having a job, whatever that job was. I was grateful to have the ability to pay the bills. At the time, I could not afford a house. I could barely afford rent. I could barely afford food. I had a comic book hobby that I was very modest with because I didn't have a lot of money. So I would say have goals, keep them obtainable, and don't black pill. Don't listen to the people going, it's so much harder for young people today because they've been sold the American dream. It's bullshit. Same shit I was hearing when I was a kid. And you know what? To a certain extent, it's not wrong, but don't feed into it. Okay. So, the banks are not your friend. Big corporation, not your friend. Big government, not your friend. Paying rent is something we need to do. It ain't great because you can't write it off. And it really doesn't. It's just paying to survive, but you need to do it. So the best advice I could give is don't buy into the black pilling and the dooming. You certainly can afford a house someday. It might not be in the city you want to live in, but if you want to own a home, build some equity and build towards something, maybe you got to move. Maybe you got to move to somewhere where you can afford a house. But honestly, that is the American dream. My goal from that age, Yamada, because I was homeless. And it's the base. Listen, I was kicked out of my house at an early age. I was also adopted. I was also a drug addict who went to prison. I also was homeless. So I didn't have a lot of security and shelter in my life when I was young. I had very little. And I know what that feels like. And it sucks. So it was locked into my brain that someday I'm going to fucking own a house, be it a shithole, a condo, or whatever. I'm going to own a place where I can live and stay and feel secure for the first time in my fucking life. So I made that my entire goal and I achieved it. It took a long fucking time. It took decades. It took working a lot of job. And then once I bought my first place, I was broke as fuck. But I had my own place. I wasn't sleeping under a fucking bush or in prison or couch surfing or breaking into motorhomes to sleep, you know. So that was very important to me, obviously. But yeah, mid-20s, you still got lots of life ahead of you, tons of life ahead of you. And the worst thing you can do is buy into black pilling. Life is not fair. Maybe it is harder for younger people right now than it was for me. I don't necessarily know. I didn't have like a phone that cost $1,000 or computers, you know, which is stuff you need. But relatively, I don't think it's any different from back then. It's just going to feel different because you're young. And I don't mean to sound insensitive to it. I don't. It's not saying that we had it harder than you back then. We had it just as hard. It's the same. I have watched Welcome to Derry, Joseph Salazar for $4.99. I watched the first episode, not the second episode. I found it very whelming. And I knew the black girl was going to live. All the kids die at the end of the episode, sorry. Except for one little girl and a black girl. And I knew the black girl was going to live because she's black. There were some scenes that were interesting, and I'm going to continue watching it. I am going to be real, though. I'm really turned off to Stephen King, and I see his name on something, and it's it's downright impossible for me to separate artists from art, even though he had nothing to do with it. But Andy Muschietti, who directed that first episode, if he had directed Flash like he had directed that, it probably would have been a better movie. Looks like horror is kind of his wheelhouse. Superheroes is not. Liked your costume on FNT. She-Bulk and Quarter Black costumes were hilarious. Also, pineapples should be on pizza. That's right. Shame. I found I am allergic to cow dairy. Oh, Varn. That sucks. Cow dairy only? I was going to say, did you get bit by that tick that makes you allergic to meat? Taylor Sheridan is doing Call of Duty movie with Paramount. Yes, he is. That's kind of the last thing he's doing. Matthew Hammond for $2. Will 20-plus episode seasons return to dissuade churn? Yes. Yes, I think that is on the horizon, and I think that's actually being discussed. It's going to take a while to get there, Matthew, but they're not going to have any other choice. Even with Netflix, it is their binge model and coming out with seasons every 2 to 3 years is not sustainable, period. It's just not. It's funny, is me and Jeremy had that argument, but it was an argument over between a business decision and preference. I love the freedom of watching whatever I want when I want to, but I also understand that completely undercuts the business model, and I will not be able to watch anything good new when I want, whenever I want to, because that model won't be sustainable. Most people don't think like that. They don't think about legacy, the future, tomorrow. Most people don't. Netflix will have to go to a weekly model to avoid churn, and they will have to go to 22 episode formulaic cookie cutter procedurals and bring it on. The Witcher would have been a successful show if it was Henry Cavill's Geralt of Rivia fighting a monster a week that is some inversion of a fairy tale with maybe a slightly overarching story with a supporting cast of Yennefer and Ciri who weave in and out of the story, but who are not in every episode and not important because they're not that interesting. And you have one big villain, and quite frankly, that villain should have been Leo Barnhart. Holy shit. It's so weird that I'm shitting on the show in the review, but he is legitimately a good character. Like a fucking bad ass character. And it's so weird. It's like, whoa. So you do know how to write a real villain, an engaging one, and you found the perfect actor to do it. And it's just such a waste because they know that the next season they're going to cuck the shit out of him and he'll lose the series. But dude, he's a fucking badass in season 4 and a hero. But yeah, they'll bring it back. They have to. Hey, Gary, what platform do you think would be the best for live action Conan series done right? And who should show run it? Who? I know who I'd have as an EP, a guy named Roy Price. A guy named Roy Price. I'd have him EP because he's the one who helped get the original rights for Amazon Prime. What platform would probably do it best? Probably HBO. HBO. They have the best crew. They're not afraid to like be non-woke in the past. Who would be the showrunner? Oh, I'd have to think about that. It'd have to be somebody who knows fucking Conan. Ryan Condell was going to do it, but I'm not entirely convinced he would have done it right. Not entirely convinced. It's a good question. Yeah, HBO did Last of Us, and they did a lot of shit and woke shit. They have, but they also have the best crew. They've been doing it longer than anybody else, and you cannot deny their shit looks better. Like House of the Dragon fucking looks better than most shows. Would Oliver Stone showrun? He'd actually be pretty good. Somebody said Oliver Stone, and I'm like, he'd actually be pretty good. God, I'm trying to think of a good show. God, everybody's gone to shit. And then there's good showrunners for drama, but that doesn't necessarily translate to epic fantasy, right? I'd have to think about it. I'm sure I could come up with a name. Or take it to Netflix and let Mark Miller pick people. See, Dan and Dave would not do, like they don't like magic and fantasy, which is fucking weird. I mean, that's what makes it fantasy. Biggest mistake of Game of Thrones was really stamping down the magic. The whole point of the fucking show was that magic was slowly coming back, and it's incredibly dangerous. Ooh, Sam Raimi for Conan? Yes. Yes. Like I said, sorry, brain running at about 75%. I've been working on a video for 2 days and just I wanted to stream. Caught up on Tulsa King. Disappointed in the off-screen death. So am I, Brian, and I don't know what the fuck the point of that was. I won't ruin it here. I know about it. And I'm like, what? He's one of my favorite characters. So I'm a little pissed off about that. Gary, we are both part of the Saturday morning cartoon generation. In your view, what was the better show? Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends or Thundar? I'm going to say Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends because I'm a fucking hardcore Spider-Man fan. But Thundar, I loved Thundar. I loved it. You know what I preferred over Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends? The Spider-Man cartoon. Remember that one? From the 80s? Just the straight up Spider-Man. And he fought like Dr. Doom. Like it was good. The early 80s superhero cartoons were fucking rad. The Superman one was rad. But the one after Amazing Friends, Spider-Man. Dude, Thundar, they should, I mean, you want to talk about a great movie adaptation. Thundar would be fun. If the BBC is hell-bent on throwing money away on Doctor Who, won't they have to start filming next year's Christmas special by late spring? Yes. I can't wait to have Trans Dalek get affirmation from the doctor. So CJ, yeah, they're going to have to announce and start a doctor within the next couple of months. And I would say before the end of the year, and then latest January, and then they start filming. So my guess is it's David Tennant. My guess is it's David Tennant. Catherine Tate comes back. Rose is there. They bring the whole team back together. They have fucking trans Rose meet Rose and wheelchair lady with missiles and Kate Leftwich Stewart, who I used to like and I can't fucking stand now. He'll bring as much of the band back together as he possibly can. Of course, no Captain Jack, no Mickey. Oof, oof, oof. And that'll be the Christmas special. And it's getting to the time of year where I watch all the Doctor Who Christmas specials, including the Ninth Doctor's Christmas special. The Ninth Doctor's Christmas. You're like, what Ninth Doctor Christmas special? The Unquiet Dead. That's a Christmas special. Takes place at Christmas. Charles Dickens. Nerdrotic, you're the best. Keep doing what you do. Thank you. Thank you. What is a COP? Thank you for the 20,000 Martian pesos. I think I'm okay. I don't necessarily think I'm the best. Drinker's the best. I'm okay. Gary, I have a Samhain box set with their 4 albums and VHS. Comic was brutal too. I love the Misfits. Hail. But I think Samhain is underrated. Thoughts? Completely underrated. They're just as good as the Misfits. So is Danzig. I'm a fan of all of it. You know what I was listening today? Pre-Dawn Corpse. Danzig singing Elvis. It was magnificent. It came out like 3 years ago. God, I don't have that box set now. I want to buy it. John Semper being black isn't why I love Spider-Man. Okay. I like Spider-Man. I was thinking about why I like Spider-Man. What got me truly into Spider-Man? And I'm pretty sure it was the Electric Company. The Electric Company got me into Spider-Man, and that led me to buying my first comic, which was Marvel Team Up 42, which featured Spider-Man. It had the still only 25 cents on it. Remember buying it off the rack in a 7-Eleven on Rancho Santa Fe Road in San Marcos. The one on the corner of Rancho Santa Fe Road and San Marcos Boulevard. So if you're in San Diego, North County, you know exactly the one I'm talking about. Yes, that 7-Eleven has been there forever. I bought that book in 75, 74, 75. The building behind it used to be a Warehouse Records, and that's where I used to work with my friend Doug, running the video department. But that's where I bought my first comic, and I'm glad the building's still there. No comics in there. Thanks to people like Brian Hibbs. No comics in convenience stores, which is terrible. It's too late now anyway. Watch party for John Carpenter's The Thing, please. Oh, and that's not a bad idea. I wish we could do real watch parties where I would love to like license a movie. I'd pay the money. License a movie for what? If we're going to watch it, if it's a watch party, how many people are going to watch the watch party? 1,000, 2,000? So why not work a deal where you can license it? You do the watch party. You don't leave it up for VOD. That's part of the deal, is like once it's done, it's done. And you charge somebody $1,000. I'd do it. It'd be a way for them to make money. And like, you do it with older movies, right? So you don't do it with any movie from like the last 5 years. And you do it with older movies. And so it's just revenue stream. And people could pirate. People pirate your shit anyway. And that way we could do YouTube watch parties where everybody can participate. Be kind of fun. I didn't grow up with superhero comics, mainly Jewish ones. What were the Jewish? Well, I mean, Zeal. Most comic books are Jewish. Just gonna say. Doubt you are, but if you are interested, I recommend the Three Brothers series, my favorite comic book series of all time. I'll check it out. Mazel tov, brother. I don't know if I said that right. I'm sorry if I offended. Bringing people together here, man. This is what fandom was supposed to be about. This is what the activists took from us. It was the one place where we can go, and it was always political. No, fucking wasn't, you fucking retards, okay? It was always a bunch of people from different backgrounds sitting there talking about Star Wars, talking about Spider-Man, talking about Hulk, talking about Battlestar Galactica. Jews and Muslims, hippies and right-wingers, hanging out in my comic store all fucking day. Not fighting, talking. I remember being disappointed when Peacemaker was announced, not because it was going to be bad, but because it was announced before the Man of Steel sequel. Yep, Brandon Gonzalez, I remember that too. I also remember I was disappointed because he was fucking dead, And I know they brought him back, but Peacemaker was really good in the Suicide Squad, and then they cucked the shit out of him for 2 seasons. And Peacemaker is woke as fuck. It's as woke as Ironheart. It's as woke as She-Hulk. It's as fucking woke as Agatha. It's as woke as any Disney Plus show. Same themes. Exact same themes. So why would people on the, listen, I'm not a conservative. Why would people on the right, hardcore right, you know who I'm talking about out there, why would you give that a pass? Curious. Really curious about that. Something doesn't feel right. Have you heard about Dispatch, superhero game about dispatching superheroes to jobs? An interactive comic style game. Writing is good. Characters are well-rounded, not really woke. And there is a comic run. I have it, but I'll check it out, Lord Botha. Thank you for the $9.99. Sounds kind of fun. I like City of Heroes. I know there's a what do you call it, like a mod out there. And I keep forgetting to go to it, but I love City of Heroes. Yo, Gary, what was your favorite movies of the 2010s? Says Jack Taman for $1.99. 2010s. I got to remember that far. So that's after 2000. Ooh, boy. Dread. I'd have to look at, because I'll get confused with movies that come out in 2005. But like Dread, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'd have to look at a list outside of superhero movies, because there's actually a bunch from the early 2010s I like quite a bit. But the first one that pops in my head, Jake, is Dread. Nerdrotic is toxic is great, even if it's not in the search. I'm going to stick with it, Matthew. I'm definitely going to stick with it for sure. Finally get to catch Gary live. Thanks for helping me through these long nights at work. My dude, stay awesome, brother. You stay awesome. Big Mac attack for $20. When was the last time I had a Big Mac? Why am I asking you? You wouldn't know. 2013. I think it was 2013. It was during my relapse. I was getting high as fuck, and I didn't care anymore. And I was getting loaded, and in the middle of the night, like the only restaurant that was open was McDonald's. That was 24 hours in my area. Believe it or not, like prior to COVID, when everything was 24 hours, San Francisco did not have a bunch of 24-hour places for obvious reasons, because they get fucking robbed. They used to have the Video Cafe, which was pretty fun. Toot my own horn. I'm 8 months alcohol free today. Wired Eddie for $1.99. You could toot that horn all you want. Be proud, brother. Be proud. That's fucking hard, dude. Quitting alcohol. It is not easy. I mean, it's probably right under kicking like opiates, heroin. So, because there is a kick factor, you get very sick, and depending how much drinking you did, you could have DTs, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous to go cold turkey. Sometimes you don't. A lot of times you have to go to detox and have a doctor take care of you and overlook you as you detox. You know, speed. You just feel fucking tired for 4 days, then you're fine. Opiates was no fucking joke, though. Fuck that. And that's why people stay on them, because like the kick is so nightmarish. Valiant Renegade had Beardo on his show. So FNT, no. I love Valiant. But I don't see the correlation there, Kevin. And quite frankly, I enjoy the meme more than making Beardo happy. And what's Beardo going to say? Beardo doesn't know who Geordie LaForge is. Beardo calls the doctor Doctor Who. This ain't Jockrotic. It's Nerdrotic. I love Beardo. And you know what? I don't even judge him for missing leg day. I don't even fucking care. That has no relevance or anything as far as how I see his character. The fact that he skips leg day doesn't matter to me. Skip fucking leg day. It's a free fucking country. Hail Valiant, though. How's Valiant doing? How many Scientologists cream themselves over 3i Atlas? Probably a lot, but they wouldn't tell you. They wouldn't tell you. Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy is underrated. Jake Tommen for $1.99. You know, I think I've softened up on the final two. Pretty softened up. Kraken being killed off camera, gay. Elizabeth becoming did I get her name right? I'm brave farting. Becoming a kind of a girl boss towards the end. Not a fan. But there's some other shit that are fantastic. Plus, the Hans Zimmer soundtrack is peak, as the kids say. Peak. Turned 41 today, going to celebrate by torturing my senses with Witcher Season 4. Magnum Norris, don't. Unless you're going to make a video and laugh. I mean, it's funny. It's really fucking funny. Liam Hemsworth does his best and fails miserably. And he's taller than Henry Cavill, but he looks smaller. He looks so much smaller. Too old to be stupid, too young to be useless. Oh, damn. There you go. Words to live by. Superman, David Bowie, Starman edits, give me hope. Always have hope, Yamada. Always have hope. I mean, I wouldn't have hope for Star Wars getting good or Star Trek getting good or Doctor Who getting good anytime. But like, as far as, you succeeding in life and creativity, finding a way and something new popping up that we can all love, that's going to happen. Certainly going to happen. How risky will Baywatch reboot be on Fox? Asked Matthew Hammond. I mean, I think at this point, they should just get some tits out, Matthew. I mean, get somebody watching broadcast TV. I mean, tits on a woman. I need to be specific. Tits on a woman. Apparently was allergic since childhood. Oh, that sucks, Varn. You know what? I don't even drink. Okay, so dairy. What do I don't eat yogurt. So ice cream. That sucks. Yeah, I eat ice cream. Once in a great while, I eat ice cream. What about cottage cheese? Is that considered? That's the only thing like possibly dairy I eat. I don't drink milk. I don't eat yogurt. I'm not the biggest fan of liquid dairy in any way, shape, or form, but I like ice cream. That sucks. That's un-American, Varn. I heard they are bringing back the original writers from the OG X-Men series for 97 season 2. Thoughts? You still think it's doomed to be woke? That's not the writer I thought they were bringing back. I thought that it was somebody who was super woke. If they bring back the original writers, that's great news. That's great news. I think Bo DeMeo had a lot of passion for X-Men. I think he was also probably kind of a pain in the ass to work with. I think both things can be true. But as long as he's roasting Kevin Feige, I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. He follows me on Twitter. And I think X-Men 97 was pretty good. Not perfect, but I thought it was pretty good. The only things I can recommend on Disney Plus are, for Marvel, are the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. And I could barely, and I mean barely, recommend Werewolf by Night and X-Men 97. Everything else fucking sucks as far as original content is concerned. But I would assume, Bob, I hate to be this way, just gotta be real. I gotta be real. Anything Disney Marvel makes, assume it's going to be woke. They're going to be the last ones to change. You know, another thing I was thinking while watching The Witcher season 4, it just felt fucking dated. Like it felt like something that was made in 2022. It did. I got a Blu-ray of Ash vs. Evil Dead thanks to you. So it's fair. So far, it's great. Started it after Army of Darkness this Halloween. Well, thank you, Mr. Fancy Pants. Marty, Ash vs. Evil Dead is a tragedy. A show that should not have been canceled, but we're lucky that we got the 3 seasons we did. Season 1 is the best, but they're all good. And the ending is chef's kiss, fucking chef's kiss. That very ending. There was a lot of passionate people. My channel was not very big at the time, and it doesn't matter. Even if it was now, I wouldn't have made a difference. And it sucks because we have The Witcher fucking season 4 and Willow and The Acolyte and Rings of Power, and they canceled Ash versus Evil Dead, which is the Cobra Kai of horror, but it's better. And what I mean by that is it took a legacy character, brought him back with respect, as much as you can respect Ash, and brought in new characters that were diverse and were not annoying. They were actually good because they made them real human beings. So again, if you haven't watched Ash versus Evil Dead, it gets the highest of recommendations for me. 11 out of 10. One of my favorite shows of all time. And I also started this channel reviewing it, essentially. It's one of my second or third videos that I'm probably ashamed of. Hey, Gary, hope you and the family had a great Halloween. We did. Mechanical Racer for $19.99. The lovely Mrs. Nerdrotic was Smurfette, and she decorated the house, and we were the most popular house in the neighborhood. We had it going on. We had a 20-foot scarecrow that can move. I had my life-size werewolf out there scaring the fuck out of kids. Ghosts everywhere. She passed out candy. It was a great Halloween. Great fucking Halloween. Thanks for asking. Have you seen the video from the band Ice Nine Kills called The Laugh Track? It's a Joker-inspired video, and the song has some nods to the original Batman movie. I have not, but I will. That sounds awesome. Cheers, brother. Hope you had a good Halloween. My first intro to Spider-Man was live-action TV show. Oh, the 70s live-action TV show. Fantastic. Nicholas Hammond. We love him. 90s Spider-Man cartoon is all-time great. It is. Kill Ganon 84. It's just as good as the X-Men one. Just as good. Ends on a cliffhanger. Ends on a fucking... Which is interesting. Remember the Spider-Man MTV cartoon, the computer-generated one? That one ends on a cliffhanger too. With Neil Patrick Harris voicing Peter Parker. Gary, most people here don't know that what the electric company is. Okay, so the electric company, Stymie, that's a good point. The electric company is like Sesame Street, except it had like Rita Moreno was on it, and Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman was on it. And yeah, it was an educational show on PBS based in New York. It was kind of fun. And it was, if you watch it now, it's kind of spicy back in the day. And Spidey was on it. So Spidey, it was Spidey Super Stories, but they did the comic book too. Spidey would come in. He wouldn't say anything. They would force you to read what Spidey said. So Spidey'd come in and he's all, and then he'd go, boop, thought bubble. And then we read the thought bubble. That's where I learned how to fucking read. So that was my first. But yeah, there's a bunch of clips online. You could see the electric company with Morgan Freeman. That's right. That's where he got his start. I bought my first comic at a gas station, but you can't anymore. Too bad. Yep. Thanks to retailers like Brian Hibbs. No vision. Hi, Gary. I've been following your work for the last few years now. Besides thinking in a similar way, I share some life experiences. I'm currently working to start over, and your journey has truly inspired me. Greetings from Brazil. Hail in Brazil. Be careful of your leader. And good luck to you. Prayers to you, Humberto. Thank you for the 20. It's a tough journey, but you can do it. God bless. Beardo is still gay. I mean, I think everybody who's gay is still gay. Like, Az is still gay, and Jeremy's still gay, and everybody's gay. You're all gay, except for me. Stymie. But Beardo is definitely gay. What are the chances that the Pendragon cycle the Daily Wire is putting out is any good? Very low. I mean, that is an ambitious thing to take on for one, limited refunds, limited resources and funds. It would be surprising if it was good. I'll be honest. I'll be real. But it doesn't mean you stop doing it. These independent studios need to walk before you can run. You need to make something just fucking mediocre. And then once you make that mediocre thing, you got to get better, and you're going to fall back a couple times, but you got to keep going. And then you got to get consistent, because when you commoditize talent, when you are making a movie, a TV show, a short film, a comic book, a webtoon, anything. If you want to actually do that for a living, you have to be consistent. Talent isn't enough. A lot of motherfuckers have talent who've never made it. But there's people who've had 3/4 the talent of the artistic genius who can never fucking put his pants on or get his shit together. And they've done quite well. Quite well, because they have business acumen, they had drive, they had motivation. Drive, motivation, passion, consistency. I mean, I'm not a comic artist, but I sold a lot of comics. And I remember a very popular one named Battle Chasers. Everybody loved Battle Chasers. Battle Chasers was one of the most sought after comics in my store until it took longer and longer to come out. And then the quality of the book was still fucking top notch, but nobody gave a fuck anymore. The Ultimates, Brian Hitch, Mark Miller. It still sold really well, but let's be real. If it had been a little more on time, it would have sold 5 times as much. It still sold really well, but they left a lot of money on the table because Brian Hitch took a long time. We know Mark Miller didn't. And I understand Brian Hitch's art is fucking great. And I understand it takes a long time. But we get back to our conversation earlier. I would prefer comic art like John Byrne, like Sal Buscema, over hyper detailed stuff. I think it looks better. I think it looks better on the page, and it's way more consistent. And if you look at all the hyper detailed artists from yore now, they don't have a huge body of work. And then you look at Kirby, who did tens of thousands of pages. And maybe started to fall off, when he hit his 70s. And still produced more work than these little young bucks. And it was better. But what do I know? What do you think about Marvel Zombies? The trailer looked amazing, but never got around to watching it. The show sucked. Read the comic books. The Robert Kirkman comic books are quite good. Quite good. The first series, it went on way too long. It should have never had a sequel, but Robert Kirkman did a Marvel Zombies series. It is fantastic. And my God, did it sell in my store. Holy shit. I'm desperate for teams and command centers to launch out to remote action locations. Star Trek, Stargate, 12 Monkeys, you mean? The Librarians. I think other franchises could reboot with this format. Maybe. I love 12 Monkeys, the TV show. Nothing like the movie, but I genuinely loved the show. Thought it was tons of fun. Gary, apologies for my lack of knowledge. Never apologize that. I don't know shit. But didn't read Moon Knight comics. I liked Oscar's acting in the show. May I ask why you dislike about it? Dan Builds. That's a good question. I think Oscar Isaacs was perfectly cast as Mark Spector. It goes to the roots of what they decided to adapt. I thoroughly, and I mean completely thoroughly, hate the disability they have given Moon Knight with the multiple personalities. I think it's fucking retarded. Moon Knight used to be Marvel Batman with a supernatural edge. And what they did was Mark Spector played 3 characters: a spy, a cabbie, and a rich guy. He played different characters. They weren't 3 different personalities. And the Bill Sienkiewicz stuff, whoa, was that good. But Charlie Houston did with David Finch a series that was fucking fantastic too. And I think it's a badass character. But doing all the later shit, and I can't remember, it was an old punk, it was some new neo-punk rock singer who took pictures of his fucking butthole or some weird shit, was writing it, and the guy was a complete psycho, and he put all his complete psycho into the fucking book, and it was shit. It was utter shit. I don't like the adaptation. The other thing I didn't like was he basically got usurped in his own show by the Scarlet Scarab, who was a gender swapped Z-list character that they jumped up to basically be an equal to Moon Knight, to where she's saving him. And then there's a spiritual kaiju fucking battle by the pyramids. It was fucking ridiculous. You keep Moon Knight at street level. He's got one of the cool, he's right here. I got the 1/6 scale right here. He's got one of the fucking coolest costumes ever. Okay. It's one of my favorite all-time characters, and they just turned him into a fucking cucked moron in the show. And it was a bait and switch, and I knew it would be. And I got called out at the time. It's not going to be bait and switch. There's no sign of that. Except when he got saved by the girl in the 3rd episode. And I think it's a waste. Now, I think you keep Oscar Isaacs, you get another creator, you get somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. Somebody who knows a little bit more about Egyptian lore as well, because they got that all fucked up in the show. And get rid of the multiple personality bullshit and just keep it at Mark Spector. And I think you got a chance. But nobody asked me, Dad. But I think I love the casting, and I thought that was, to me, Moon Knight was the biggest disappointment on Disney Plus. Out of all the shows, the one that disappointed me the most was Moon Knight, because I wanted it to be rad. I love that character. Hot take on Green Lantern movie is overhated. Not a good movie, but I'd take it over 99% of what DC has done over the 5 years. Ryan Reynolds was solid hell. Yeah, I never hated Green Lantern, like, with a passion. I just thought they could do better. Actually, I think the first, like, fucking, remember, that's the same director as Casino Royale. And the first 15 minutes of that movie, kick ass. But you're not wrong. It's better than most of the shit that comes out. It's better than Marvel Phase 4, for sure. I'm a big fan of the IP Man and ONG back movies. What are your all-time favorite Asian Oriental action star? Jet Li is mine. I wasn't like, Bruce Lee. Basic bitch answer, Bruce Lee. But I like Jet Li as well. But I wasn't that into kung fu movies, a little bit. Cumberbatch Sherlock or Downey Jr. Sherlock? Oh, it depends. I just rewatched the Downey Jr. Sherlock movies, and I adore them. I fucking love them. Killing Moriarty sucks. Sorry for spoilers, but and I don't know why they didn't do a third. They were all hits. Cumberbatch Sherlock in the beginning was next level good, and then it went bad quick. Not sure if you mentioned it, but Shelby Oaks, I'm not even going to watch it. Drinker reviewed it. I have no interest in seeing like basic bitch horror where it's like found footage, blah, 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 blah. I mean, to get me, and I don't like slasher horror at all. I like supernatural ghost horror movies, and I have seen my fair. I've seen enough found footage, independent ones. I need something like Weapons. That's different enough and cool enough. I genuinely wish Chris Stuckman all the luck in the world chasing his dream, and I hope he finds out. I hope he doesn't find out that he was probably a better YouTuber than the filmmaker. It sounds to me like he shouldn't write anything. He should direct it, but that's only what it sounds to me. And he hasn't been nice to us, like ever, shown us the respect that we're showing him. Yet still, I'm going to show him the respect. I hope he does great. He had a great leg up. He had Mike Flanagan. He had privileges most filmmakers didn't have. So I hope he takes advantage of it. But what he's probably going to find out, and it's just through massive naivety, is filmmakers. I'm not going to criticize the filmmakers because the filmmakers talk shit about each other all the fucking time. They're worse than we ever were. Like ever. But I wish him luck. I hope he does well. I don't wish ill on the man. Although they wish ill on us. EBBZ994499 says, "Hail, sorry if I missed it, but what are your thoughts on it? Welcome to Dairy HBO. Hope you're doing good." I was very whelmed by the first episode. I haven't seen the second one yet. It's not terrible. It's well directed. But I got a hard time watching Stephen King shit now. I just do. That's a personal problem. Yamada for 40 yen says, "Hot take, George Perez has better art than Jim Lee." That's not even a hot take. That's not even debatable. That is a fact. That is a fucking fact. Who says that's a hot take? Let's break down proportions. Yamada, let's talk about feet. Rob Liefeld gets a lot of shit about his feet. Is anybody taking a look at Jim Lee's ankles and feet? They're bird ankles. And this is actually made worse. I wish I could run over and show you. Here, hang on. I'm going to show you some Jim Lee proportions in 3D. Now, this one isn't as bad as Batman. Okay. If you got the Batman one, but his boots hide how tiny his ankles are, how small his head is, how thick his neck is compared to his chest. And these are made off. This is Hush. This is Hush Superman. And I don't hate Jim Lee's style, but he is not the greatest artist who ever lived. And if anybody, and I mean anybody, says he is better than George Perez, they need to have their eyes checked. I think Jim Lee would even tell you George Perez is better than. As a matter of fact, I know he would. Yeah. George Perez is better than Jim Lee. If you like Jim Lee, cool. He's never been my favorite. Jim Lee comes from, I don't know if it's directly, but if you go back and look at the art of Michael Golden when he was in his prime, holy shit, that guy was the fucking best. That guy was the best. He fell off, but Michael Golden, holy shit. Yeah. And I have no room to talk because one of my favorite artists is proportions are shit. And Todd McFarlane, I love Todd McFarlane, but his proportions are shit. But it's really fun to look at. I love Todd McFarlane. Now, Greg Capullo, better artist than Todd McFarlane. Greg Capullo fucking is great. But yeah, this is a Hush Medicom real action hero Superman. And I got the Batman one, and he's got like teeny tiny ankles and teeny tiny wrists. And he draws everything kind of like statues. But it's just a matter of taste. Some people might completely disagree with me. I like Silvestri's run quite a bit. Yeah, see, Gary's like, Gary, stop it. Gary, stop it. George Perez fucking rules. How do I feel about analog horror? Analog horror. What would be considered analog horror? Internet subgenre of horror that uses aesthetic old media like VHS. Oh, I think it's pretty creepy. Okay, I just had to look it up. I didn't know it off the top of my head. I actually like that. You know, my son's a big fan of that. You never congratulate the Dodgers. Great series. I'm not going to. Fuck the fucking Dodgers. They won they bought themselves another World Series. Great. Ohtani is the greatest player I've ever seen, though. Greatest player I've ever seen. He definitely gambled, and his friend took the fall, and he probably should have been suspended, but I'm glad they didn't. But the dude definitely got away with gambling and had his friend take the fall. And if any Dodger fan out there is no, it was really his friend. Get the fuck out of here. It was him. He was gambling. He got busted. His friend took the fall for him because he was the biggest player in baseball, and it would have been the biggest scandal that they don't need because, quite frankly, their sport is not growing that much, at least in America. And that was helping their sport grow internationally. I can't wait for the fucking World Baseball Classic. I cannot wait. But he was fucking gambling. That was him. 100%. I'm gonna say Once Upon a Time in the West. But I need to think about it a little more, too. Cumberbatch Sherlock got more feminist the longer it went. Plus, the mental health stuff sucked. It did, Jade. And what happened to Stephen Moffat is a tragedy. So Stephen Moffat, who was a completely normal writer, was starting to get a lot of criticism from online groups about being sexist. You heard me right. Being sexist. And it was a bunch of fucking British Karens who got together and used the power of media to force one of the greats to completely capitulate. And he did it in Doctor Who and Sherlock at the same time. It also coincided when Piers Wenger came into the BBC and brought in his new diversity program. And it basically forced Stephen Moffat to change a lot, which turned Sherlock and Doctor Who woke before Chris Chibnall even got there. And I think Stephen Moffat just went along to get along. Now, Stephen Moffat's not like MAGA or pro-Brexit or anything, but I think he's like a normal dude because there's previous interviews where I even got the it's in the behind the scenes of a Doctor Who. He says if they bring a woman in to play the Doctor, it would be like pressing the panic button. That is a direct quote from Stephen Moffat, and he wasn't wrong. Hail, brother. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it. All right. I got to get to bed. Because we're doing this all over again tomorrow morning or maybe tomorrow night. I might have to push it to get the video. It depends on when the video is going to come out and like what has to be done. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to shoot for the morning. But my first DVD I bought was The Outlaw Josie Wales. That's a good first DVD. What's the first DVD I bought? I'm pretty sure it was Blade. Blade or The Matrix? So 98, 99. Perez, Byrne, Alex Ross, Tim Sale, all goated. Yep. Darwin Cook. Don't forget Darwin Cook. Japan with the World Series, not the Dodgers. That's my copium strategy. Favorite non-Peter Parker superhero. I think Ben Reilly was pretty neat. I love Ben Reilly. So favorite non-Peter Parker Spider-Man? Probably Ben Reilly. Spider-Man 2099 is pretty neat. More in video games than the actual comic, but yeah, I got a Ben Reilly 1/6 scale from the game. It's fucking awesome. All right. Who's my favorite comic book writer? All-time writer. I have to think about that. Mark Miller's in my top 5. Frank Miller would probably be number 1. I got a name for you he's considered a journeyman, but he was fucking great. Roger Stern. But I'd have okay, my number 1 comic book writer is Roy Thomas. Roy Thomas on Conan, to be specific. Old Frank Miller, not current Frank Miller. No. There's Miller and Millar. It's not Eric July. Eric July is my friend. Brad Meltzer was pretty good. But Eric July is getting better. He's improving. And that's what you got to do. I haven't read Saints and Sinners yet. I feel bad, but I've been busy reading my own book. Although it stopped dead this week. I didn't do shit. Walt Simonson, great. But who is a writer like who I would just run to? Garth Ennis for a while. Warren Ellis, Grant Morrison. Some Alan Moore stuff. Some of his stuff fucking sucks. Okay. A lot of his stuff sucks. Chuck Dixon. That's Chuck Dixon is a legend. Chuck Dixon is a lunch pail comic book writer. He's fucking awesome. He's consistent. When most people burn out, that guy's still fucking going. But yeah, Matt Fraction, he's all right. Matt Fraction was all right. Hickman had a good Fantastic Four run. But they were kind of like the school of Grant Morrison, Warren Ellis, like light, in my opinion. Brian K. Vaughan was pretty good. I like some of his stuff. Jason Aaron is another part of that school of Remender, Hickman, Aaron. You know, never mind. Never mind what. You know who wrote a fucking great? John Byrne's a great writer and had a lot to do with Claremont's run when he was there. I mean, he was basically a co-writer. Joss Whedon, Astonishing X-Men. Jeff Johns is, some of his shit is great. His Teen Titans were great. The JSA were great. Never mind what. What did I do? Did I miss something? Oh, here it is. But I got it, didn't I? I thought I got it. Unless there's a new one. Yeah, don't bother texting me, Eric. Unlike other streamers, unless I really need to, completely ignore my phone while I'm on the stream. Here's some unsolicited advice for content creators that they don't want to hear, but they should listen to. Other content creators. If you're on a stream and you're having conversations with others, and I'm not saying you can't check your computer or your phone once in a while. You don't have to be as hardcore as me. But if you're drifting off into la la land or answering a bunch of fucking emails or doing stuff while you're on a stream, if you're not engaged in the conversation, why would the audience be engaged in the conversation? Ask yourself that. Think of it from a viewer's perspective. How do you like seeing it while you're watching it? It is a privilege to be streaming in front of other people. And if you get a lot of people, then give them your time. You can do all that shit on another stream. You can do that stuff when you're not streaming. Stay engaged. Thanks, Eric. Jeremy's watching other people's stuff while he's streaming, but he's still engaged in it. That's his stream where he's doing his stuff. I'm not going to ignore. You used to look for my text during stream for problems. You don't love me anymore. I don't. No, Eric, I can't look at my phone because I'm easily distracted. It's not you, it's me. According to the quartering, 70,000 people is bad. Well, it depends on what they did. I don't love me either, says Mr. All right. It's almost 1 a.m, which is actually 2 because we just fell back. So my body still feels like it's 2 a.m. And I got to get up and I got to hit the stream mines tomorrow, guys. We got to do this again. Yes, I remember when I had a stream muted for 10 minutes, Jose Taco. I do. Thanks for reminding me. Of course I remember. And you think there's only one that happened? It's 11:51, and you are in the Mountain Time Zone, the time zone nobody gives a shit about. The time zone nobody gives a shit about. All right. Is there anybody else streaming? Who's up? Is Derek Anderson still up or is he done? Am I it? No, DA still go to DA. Here, I'm gonna hit his. Here. You want to keep watching a good stream, go check out our boy, the DA. There you go. Tell him I sent you. I will see you guys tomorrow. I will let you know if it's morning or evening. It's kind of up in the air right now. It depends on where Garrett is at with the video, and then I gotta watch it and all that other stuff. Ty Basket, thank you for the $5. Appreciate it. Blank Face for 35 Zardozes says, I can see your old age is getting to you, sir. It's not night. It's 9 o'clock in the morning and you need to go to sleep. It is in South Africa. It is 12:53 a.m. In a complete earlier day from you, Blank Face. But thank you. That will show that you're not racist going to DA. I don't care if people think I'm racist. I stopped caring a long time ago. It's 10 a.m. in Tehran. Wonder what time it is in Egypt, because that's where I'll be in a couple of weeks. All right. Thank you, Ty Basket, again. DA is awesome. Thanks to the Nerdrotics. Thanks to everyone who left a super chat and donation. What's up, Mila? How's it going? And I will see you guys tomorrow, either in the morning or in the evening. But in the meantime, go check out Derek and have a good night. Remember, not all who wander are lost, and may the wings of liberty never lose a feather.